What is up everyone, Falcor here, and in today's video I have another experience to share with you while I was serving in the military. Since leaving the military, I've had a few questions asked on what was the wildest thing that's ever happened to you while in the military. Now, there were a few things that has happened to me and a few experiences that I would love to share, but the wildest thing that's ever happened to me, I had to rack my brain just a little bit, and there's one thing that did stand out to me the most. No, not that, of course, but it is kind of related and sort of kind of similar. Now, before we get into this video, if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. I would really appreciate it. And at the very end of the video, if you give it a like. All right, so back in 2020, I deployed to the UAE, United Arab Emirates. Since it was 2020 and COVID was worldwide, we were restricted to base only, and there was no hopes of us getting off base. And it was 120 degrees almost daily of dry heat. It wasn't dry, it was moist. I was sweating all the time. Showers you would think would be cold, but it wasn't. Since the water tanks were outside and it was 100 degrees outside, well, that means your water was going to be constantly hot. So no matter how badly you wanted to take a cold shower, you were never taking a cold shower. Now, there was one kind of cool thing that happened. That was every Sunday we had crab legs and steak. Now, maybe it wasn't the best steak, or the crab legs were at the bottom of the barrel when they pulled them, but it was still steak and crabs. That was cool. So, for the most part, it was a good time. The only thing that kind of sucked is that since we were based very close to a not-so-friendly country, we constantly had to do bunker dives. For anybody who's unaware of what a bunker dive is basically where you get a warning over a nice loudspeaker, and you grab your vest and helmets, and you slap them on and jump inside a bunker, and you stay there for as long as you need to. And this is 120-degree weather, so it sucked. Now, of course, constantly as we're getting bunker dives, I am obviously flying. Now, the first couple of flights were an adjustment for me to make, but I finally got used to it, and I think I flew, it was 28 missions, I think it was. So all in all, like, the deployment was fun. Now, what you're asking yourself, what was that wildest thing that you were talking about? Well, since we were having all these warnings go off with possible cruise missiles flying your way and having to take care of yourself as much as you can, just hope to God that nothing ever pops off. Well, on one nice, fine, sunny day, we were setting up for our mission. We stepped to the jet, waiting for takeoff, all just kind of chilling. And then, over the radios, we had a warning of a cruise missile flying straight toward us. At the time, our senior director kind of sat us down and said to all of us, do whatever you need to do to get yourself in order, deal with whatever feelings you need to deal with right now, because if this cruise missile is heading toward us and it hits, this will be the start of World War III. Can you imagine the feeling you would get just sitting there in a jet with a possible cruise missile flying at you, and that this may be the initial release of a new world war? Well, yeah, we were all feeling it. So I did what I thought I needed to do, and I went back to the latrine. If you don't know what that is, a latrine is just a bathroom. It's a fancy word. I think it's Latin for shitter. I went back to the latrine and I popped about 3 tobacco-free nicotine pouches in my lip, because that was what I did to cope with whatever I was needing to cope with. After a few minutes, I finally stepped outside. I could hear my pilot screaming at the tower to say, why are we not cleared to take off? Because obviously the flight line's the last place you want to be at if there's a missile. Another 15 minutes had passed, which seemed like an eternity, until we finally got a call. And they said, oops, just kidding. It must have been some glitter. Now, I know that nothing actually did happen, and I can only talk about this because nothing only happened, but it was the wildest thing to just think right there at that very moment, for all of us sitting inside that jet, that we were going to be witnessing the beginning of World War III. That was the wildest thing that I had ever experienced in the military. We were really never in any danger at the time. After we found out what was going on, we just took off and had a few laughs afterwards. Of course, when we landed, we all directly went to the Camel, that was our bar, and grabbed the strongest drink that we could possibly get. I wish I got to go back and experience it again with maybe less stress, or at least do one more deployment, but I did receive 2 campaign medals for my first and only tour, and an air medal for my first and only tour. With those alone, some people say that I'm kind of a badass. I am thankful that nothing ever really happened. It was definitely an experience that I'll never forget. For all of those who are deployed or have deployed and any of the in-betweens, thank you guys for your service. I really appreciate it. Now that I'm not in it, I can now thank you for your service, baby. That was stupid. Anyway, that's all for today's video. Until the next time, Valkyrie out. See you!